shows Philip Seymour Hoffman and Norm Macdonald sitting in an office smoking cigars. Hoffman gets on the intercom and says, "Sugar bosom, any word from Dr. Spaceman?" Hooks, "No, it looks like he's still in prison, but Mr. Belushi's personal doctor is here." Hoffman, "Okay, send him in." Phil Hartman, dressed as a doctor, walks into the office and says, "Hello, Mr. King." Hoffman, "It's Juris Dr. King." Hartman, "Very well. I'm Dr. Pusher, and I have some very bad news about Mr. Belushi." Chris Farley wheels in an incapacitated John Belushi in a wheelchair into the office. Hoffman, "What's the matter? Too much partying last night?" Hartman, "Perhaps. All I know is that Mr. Belushi is not well and is not going to be able to perform tonight." Hoffman, "What got him sick? If it's not his usual cocktail of booze and drugs, maybe it was the Hall of Fame snub?" Hartman, "Excuse me?" Hoffman, "There's a podcast out there called Saturday Night Live Hall of Fame where the podcast is set up in SNL Hall of Fame. Gilda, Chris, Phil, and Norm have all gotten in, but somehow John was snubbed." Hartman, "Really?" Hoffman, "Right? I mean, I love my four who got in, but how do you leave out John Belushi? He was on the show from the beginning. He was a huge star the first 4 seasons of the show as it ascended in cultural relevancy. He became a movie star based on his performances on the show. He had Samurai, the Cheeseburger Guy, Captain Kirk, The Godfather, The Bees, not to mention the Blues Brothers. Okay, it's unreal." McDonald, "No John Belushi in the Hall of Fame? What kind of racket are they running anyway?" Hoffman, "Like I said, Normie, they put you in." McDonald, "A mighty fine racket they're running over there, you know." Hoffman, "It doesn't seem right. It almost inspired me to make a Saturday Night Live Hall of Fame, but I think we're still too young of a program." Hartman, "Well, that's a shame. Perhaps his illness is psychological based on the Hall of Fame snub." Hoffman, "Is there anything we can do?" Hartman, "I'm afraid not, and that's a problem." Hoffman, "Well, no shit. My cold open was going to be Belushi-centric. A bee flying out of a shark's mouth while holding a katana singing an old blues song." Hartman, "But we have an even bigger problem." Hoffman, "What's that?" Hartman, "My fee." Hoffman, "Your fee?" Hartman, "That's correct. If Belushi can't make it on, he doesn't get paid, correct?" Hoffman, "Correct." Hartman, "And if he doesn't get paid, I don't get paid." Hoffman, "Okay." Hartman, "And if I don't get paid, John doesn't get his medicine." Hoffman, "His medicine?" Hartman, "His drugs." Farley faints. Belushi gets up out of the wheelchair and yells, "Dead from the earth, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Norm Macdonald, Gilda Radner, Denitra Vance, and with many other special deceased contributors. Musical guest, Burt Bacharach, and your host, Michael O'Donoghue. Everybody, Michael O'Donoghue. Applause, applause, applause. O'Donoghue. I'm a writer for this show and have been asked to host. They promised me some of Belushi's drugs, so here I am. When SNL started in 1975, I was the first head writer and got lots of it, mostly from groupies. Gilda Radner comes out. Applause, applause, applause. Radner, "Hey, Mike, can you tell me one of your famous least loved bedtime stories?" O'Donoghue sits down in the chair and says, "Well, sure thing, you little imp. Why don't you hop on my knee and I'll tell you the story of the little train that died." Radner sits down on O'Donoghue's lap. O'Donoghue, "Okay, so one time there was a little train that had to pull a giant pile of scrap metal up the mountain. He never had to pull such a heavy load in his life. And so as he left the valley, his little wheel said, I hope I can, I hope I can, I hope I can, I hope I can. But before long, he picked up speed, and now the wheel said, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Soon the little train was whizzing up the mountain, and now the wheel said, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can, I know I can. Heart attack, heart attack, heart attack, heart attack. Oh my God, the pain. Oh my God, the pain. Oh my God, the pain. I left my pills in the roundhouse. I left my pills in the roundhouse. And he died. Now normally, Gilda, that would be the end of the story. But the little train was on the mountain, kind of on an incline, and he began to roll down slowly at first, but then went faster and faster, until he was just barreling down the mountain and his wheels just barely on the tracks. Of course, they weren't saying anything this time because they were dead. Now, in the valley, who should be sitting on the tracks but Freddy the Frog? And wouldn't you know it, he was facing the wrong way. So he never sees the train coming at him at 180 miles an hour. Fortunately, Freddy hopped off the tracks just in time. The train misses him, hitting instead a school bus, killing 115. No one over age 9, and the school bus. Now, when the state police arrive at the scene, one of them looks around at the carnage and the grisly mutilation, spots Freddy and says, you know it's wrong that so many human beings should be dead and this frog should still be alive. And so they beat him to death with a softball bat at the end. Bradner. Oh, Mr. Mike, that was the best tale I ever heard. O'Donohue. Well, Gilda, I have a lot more where that came from. Folks, we have a great show tonight. Burt Bacharach is here. So get ready for always something there to remind me. We'll be right back.